preemptively clapped. Okay, we're good now. Now we're recording. Now we're good. So I hit you up late this week. I'll explain why.
I like you're saying this like the audience knows, but now they know.
I'll explain why. I forgot when I hit you up. Thursday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I try to do, I'm done with comics on this show.
Okay.
But the problem is I don't really know anyone else. That's the bigger problem. So like last week I had my friend French Director on. He's a starting stand-up French director. 50,000 followers on Instagram.
That helps.
It didn't. I could show you the numbers after. If anything, it fucking went down. He can't speak. They don't speak English.
Oh.
I didn't think of that.
Right.
I didn't think that far. He promoted it in French.
Okay.
But he's from Montreal.
And then all the French people come and they're like, "Who's this American guy?"
Yeah.
Yelling at me.
I didn't think that far into it.
Well, I've had experiences with the show, the Splitting Hairs podcast that I had, which we just threw the towel in on recently. Yeah, R.I.P. Another podcast on the throats of the wayside.
Dunce Caps.
Yeah, now there's Dunce Caps, which is still alive and running.
Okay, good.
I just never promote it because it's for us.
It's like a goldfish.
It is.
It's alive, but it's there for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the old goldfish serves no purpose. No. But I noticed on Splitting Hairs we had guests on, and we had guests that we had like Gus on.
Love Gus.
Right? We had Gus on. It was great, right? And he's like a friend of mine, but also who's going to complain about like, oh, he's got a big following, so hopefully people will see the clips with him and blah blah blah. It like nothing. Yeah. But then we had my brother on. My brother's not a comic. My brother just like works at Snapchat. He's just like we've talked about him on the show. Yeah, just sassy gay guy, and we got a huge spike. But I think I think the reason is because if you have people that aren't comics or that aren't necessarily like big or have a big following, the people in their life are more likely
definitely
to be like, yo, like think of like if your dad, right? You said your dad used to be a cop. If all his friends and guys on the force found out your dad was on a podcast, don't you think they'd all be like, yo, I gotta go hear what Happel just fucking talked about?
I know. That's why we've talked about him being on the pod.
You should 100%. I don't even know much about your dad, but I know you enough to know that you should probably have him.
We should probably have him on the pod. Get ready.
Yeah.
Get ready, Dad. So who I reached out to, I'm scrolling through Facebook. A kid I went to high school with gets a job as like an executive chef at 11 Madison.
Okay.
I was like, all right. And from my understanding, he listens to the pod. So correct me if I'm wrong here, Brandon.
Call in.
You know the line. So I reached out to him because I saw he had that, and he at 24, 25, he just gave up everything and just pursued being like an elite sushi chef.
That's great. That's dope.
Just like this Jewish kid from Long Island. And he gets a position at 11 Madison.
Right.
Awesome. So I reach out to him. I'm like, listen here, you kid I went to high school with, you Jew.
You Jew. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. I was waiting for the...
I know. I was trying to think of like a funny thing before Jew. And, I've been up for a while.
Non-Gentile.
So listen here, you former lacrosse playing Hebe. I was like, if you're around, I know you're a chef, you're cooking, you're prepping. If you want to come onto the pod, love to have you on. He said, listen here, you former fat cunt. I'm not around in New York. But I was like, what happened with the 11 Madison? He said, this is how it kind of works in the culinary world. You have to reach out to these kitchens when you're in town and see if you could work for like a few days. And that's what happened.
Interesting.
But isn't that very similar to the comedy world?
Yeah, 100%.
That's so, but like they have a skill. He has a skill. We have no skill.
Well, if you're going to count making a room full of people laugh on your own.
Whoa, you're assuming comics can do that.
The good ones can.
The good ones can.
Yeah.
A lot of them that hit you up for a spot cannot.
No, not a lot. But just like a lot of chefs aren't great. and a lot of
But
cooks.
11 Madison.
Well, he is.
He is.
Right.
Yeah, I just thought that was like, I was like, that's how these elite kitchens work. You could just hit them up and be like, hey, I know fucking Chris Metcalfe.
But I that seems like really high level chefing, though. You know what I mean? Like I know guys that I used to work at the service industry a lot, but I was in the front of the house. But still, like, I knew guys that like they were just like grinding it out at like the same place. They weren't like. It seems like your friend's trying to do like high level chef shit.
Yes.
Where you're doing more, where you're like trying to like make a name for yourself and.
But he said that's how you make a name for yourself in the culinary world. He's like, not only did I work at 11 Madison, I worked at the Fulton and the Seaport.
Right.
He's like, you just got to hop around kitchens and like build your name up. And I was like, that's so insane that billionaires eat at places that have the same business model as the comic strip. Like, it's the same mindset behind both, which blows my mind.
Well, in terms of the chef and the comic.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. But I think similar, though, to comics and chefs, I think I've heard comparisons made between the two of them before.
Yes.
Both crazy.
Yes.
Right? Both have to work weird hours. And if you're dedicated to the craft and stand-up, you're writing and doing the shit, too.
Yes.
Sounds like you gotta fucking travel and do all that kind of stuff. But there's also a lot of comics that are just happy being like a local comic that just does it, like a guy that just stays at one burger joint and is like the chef at this burger joint for 15 years.
Yeah, there's the Chili's and Applebee's versions of comics out there.
100%.
Where did you work as a server? Like, what kind of spot?
It ran the gamut. So like I did like high end stuff.
Oh,
like at like the Soho Grand Hotel.
Really?
Yeah, like I had like a locker, black vests, black tie, shoe, the whole bit.
That's a career serving situation.
Oh yeah, if you work enough hours, you get health. They had insurance because it was attached to the hotel.
Right.
So it was like a whole thing.
I had no idea. I thought you just bartended.
Yeah, well, I bartended there, but then I also served. But I like served at places, and I mostly did bartending though. But I served when I was younger. It was a lot of burger joints, like small like vacation places down in New Jersey at the shore.
Okay.
I would lifeguard 9 to 5 on the beach, and then I would work nights, like 3 or 4 nights a week. I would just work my fucking ass off and make a bunch of money because I wouldn't work during the year usually.
That's the most fucking Jersey Shore thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, bro.
That's a seasonal worker.
Those were some fun days. Those were like college to me was like, by the time I got to college, I was like, meh, in terms of like partying and all that shit, because in the summers lifeguarding, the youngest you could be a lifeguard on the ocean is 16. And then you'd have some people, most people would do it like through college. And then some people would do like a couple years after college, they're like figuring out shit or whatever.
Right.
And then you get some people who were teachers
who would come back
and do it. And like the job is literally just be in shape, chill on the beach, and like, pay attention to the water and talk to people. And you like knew everybody. So it was like this sick fucking job. I was 16 hanging out with like 21 and older people.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
At 16, that's a big deal.
And we call and I say this I feel like someone who's younger maybe listening to this, it sounds like, yeah, that's really sketchy and you get sued. It was interesting. I caught the tail end of an era. I'm 34, so like there was a time where like I was going to parties with people that were like upwards of like 25, right? But I was 16, and it wasn't weird, it wasn't creepy, nothing like. I mean, they were like, Metcalfe, I'm gonna teach you how to do a fucking keg stand. Get your ass over here. It was like that, but we all worked together on the beach. We're all coworkers.
I don't think it's that weird.
I don't think it is either. But by the time I turned 21, things had like changed, and people who were throwing parties were like, yo, if you're 18 or under, you can't come to this fucking party. And then even then, by the time my brother started guarding, they were like, you got to be like 21 and older. So it would be like all the 18
To be a lifeguard or
no
party?
to party.
Okay.
Like the parties would be more segregated.
That's not a well. I mean, it's Jersey, they've always been segregated, but to lifeguard, you should probably be. You probably shouldn't be 16 and lifeguarding an ocean.
It's not as crazy as you think, because in order for them to do it, to be 16 and do it, they did like 2 summers of like junior lifeguard, like being a junior lifeguard. So
what does that mean?
You meet 3 to 5 days a week for like 3 hours in the morning from like 9 to 1, and they basically it's kind of like a half day summer camp sort of a thing. So like everyone shows up, they have like blue shorts instead of the red shorts, and then they would and then they would do shit where like once a day, once a term, a month or whatever, they'd be like let the junior lifeguards like sit with the normal lifeguards for the day.
Okay.
Like that type of thing. So it was almost like a lifeguard
Boys and girls
internship.
club.
It was like a lifeguard internship. And then by the time, if you did it, and by the time you became a lifeguard at 16, you actually started with a higher pay. Every year you get a pay bump.
Interesting.
And you just did more training. Bro, I was so involved. I was like a lieutenant one year. I taught training. I was in it.
They give you military rankings in the lifeguard?
There's
and
the
reserves?
patrol, and there's a captain and a lieutenant, and then there's all the beaches.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So one year I drove around on a quad with a fucking
Now that's a big deal.
with an AED.
The straw hat? Did you have a big straw hat?
No, but sometimes I was big on wearing a Speedo, so I would just be on the fucking quad in my Speedo and shit like that. I'd get off the quad. Actually, one time this dude I work with, he was a real ball buster, hard ass guy. He always wanted to exude his power. He'd give someone a bad report or like whatever. And one time I showed up to a meeting. It wasn't anything serious. He was like, meet me on 5-4, which is like the middle beach of the patrol we were on. And I go over there and I got the helmet on because I had to drive it on the street to get up around. And I'm wearing just a Speedo and I had a clipboard because in the mornings you have to do like these like beach reports. So I like get off and I got like a Speedo and like my fucking zinc and I just look like a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, Herb.
And he walks over. He's like, bro, you can't be doing that. Bro, you're in a position of power and you can't be walking around in Speedo. I was like, bro, I'm a fucking lifeguard, bro.
This
Who gives
is
a shit?
Right, this is the job.
Who gives a shit?
We aren't police. We
Yeah.
aren't the military.
Yeah, I'm not a cop. Listen, half of my day is me going up to a dad and a kid being like, hey, you can't dig a hole to China right now. Fill in the hole.
Was that really a thing?
Bro.
The depths? You had to patrol depths of beach holes?
Because what would happen is on rare occasions, the hole would collapse and be like a kid in it, right? Bro, when I was younger,
Ooh.
one time someone came up to me and I was on the beach. I was just sitting on the stand.
Okay.
And
The stand.
Yeah, sitting
That's
wood.
no,
We would call it sitting wood.
You called it sitting wood.
Yeah, we'd be like, hey.
You wore a
sitting wood
Speedo and
today?
you would sit wood.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
And that's where my
There
dad
wa-
turns it off.
You would wear the Speedo underneath the bathing suit, but then if you worked out or did something, it was just bathing suit comes off, I'm gonna go work out in the Speedo. Because the bathing suits were all floppy and weird. But then I would also wear it
The board shorts. Are we talking board shorts?
Yeah.
So you would take off board shorts to then just reveal a
Yeah,
Speedo.
but you can't run and do athletic stuff in board shorts. So you do it in the Speedo.
Sure.
I'm
Listen. I'm not the professional.
Listen,
You're the
there is,
professional.
but I also I would get wild Speedos. I had a blue, a laser blue zebra Speedo. I had a fucking leopard one.
You didn't need to wear a red.
I will only if I was doing a save, I wouldn't take the shorts off. If I'm sitting on the stand or doing something serious.
Hold on.
You got the red shorts.
You would wear leopard on patrol, we'll say. I don't know what you call it on the clock.
If I was sitting on the stand on a normal day,
yes,
I'd have red shorts on, but
Boom.
underneath I'd have a Speedo.
Okay. You have to go into the water to save someone.
The shorts stay on.
The shorts stay
on. The red
on.
shorts stay on. Yeah. Because you don't have time to okay, now I'm going to take my shorts off if it's a real serious save.
So when you were patrolling, when you were walking your beat, we'll say, you could rock the Speedo.
Well, so when you sit on the stand, you don't go anywhere other than to like talk to beach patrons or go in the water, or you can go work out.
Okay, so maybe I just don't know what that term means.
What, work out?
Like, you mean like exercise?
Yeah, so like every meeting, every morning before lifeguarding, like the day started, like the beach is open at 9, we meet at 8, and then we all have to work out. So it's like, it might be a beach run with like push-ups and abs. It might be like going for like a long swim in the ocean.
Okay.
Some kind of workout. Then we'd all meet, count heads. The captain is like, okay, you two are going to go to this beach. You two are going to go to this beach. If you had more seniority, you just go to the same beach every fucking day.
Understand.
And then, and then you just like go off. But then during the day, if you and me are sitting together, I might be like, all right, I'm going to go, like, we have these huge rescue paddle boards, but you could also like ride waves on them and just like work out on them. There's also on the middle beach, like a gigantic fiberglass fucking 2-man rowboat that you could like launch off the beach and go.
Okay.
Some guys were into rowing and they would like go on these like long ass fucking rows. So as long as one person's on the beach, you can be like, oh, I'm going to go for a run. I'll be like, okay.
I understand.
I just be back by fucking 1 because I'm going to go take lunch. And you'd be like, okay, bye. I'm going to go.
Okay.
And in that case, then you take the fucking shorts off and go work out in your Speedo.
My concern was you're walking up to a father and his child in leopard print Speedo. And you're like, excuse me.
Nothing for like something serious like that.
Okay.
But there's beach patrons that are like, that live down there in the summer and they know you and they'd be like, hey, what's up, Metcalfe? Like your Speedo today. You know, like they knew me.
Okay.
So they would be like funny, you know, but like, you know what it's kind of like? It's like, I don't know, like I don't know if they do it really in hockey, but like I don't know, like in lacrosse, like some guys would get like wild, like colorful strings.
I understand
for the
what it-
thing.
yes.
You know, like it serves a purpose, but I'm gonna be like silly about it if I'm gonna wear one.
Okay, that's
so
fine.
It was kind of like that, but oh, so wait, we were talking about the holes, right?
Talk about the holes.
So dude, even when I was younger, you would just be like, yeah, let's just see how deep of a hole we could dig. But
Of course.
like it's just sand. So like at a certain point, sometimes the holes would collapse and like some kids would get hurt. A kid died one year, not while it was like years ago. But so then they start making rules. You can't dig a hole deeper than like your neck or your chest.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you got a 4-foot kid, then the hole can really only be like 3 feet.
Right.
Right. But no one reads the rules, whatever. Bro, one time my captain came up to me and he's like, Metcalfe, you got to go talk to these people over here. They're digging a hole. And he saw it, but he wanted me to see it. So I walk over and I was like, I walked over to this hole and I could not see the bottom.
Really?
Bro, I swear to God. And I was like, yo, you guys need to close this up. And the kid's like, why? And I was like, bro, this isn't safe. I was like, just start filling it in, and I start kicking sand in. And he's like, no, my brother's down there. And I was like, what? And you know those beach shovels where it's like the 3-foot wood handle with like the colorful end? He lays on his belly and sticks his arm down and then like pulls his brother. Brother like grabs the shovel and he like pulls his brother. The kid couldn't even get out
How
himself.
old are these kids?
It was like a teenager and like the other kid was like 8.
It would be great if the other kid down there had like a hard hat on with the light.
He might as well have. They were like fucking spelunking. Like, bro, I did not see this kid. I think I didn't see him because he was starting to like dig like.
He was like actually trying to navigate.
Yeah.
Ended up working for the cartel.
Right. Yeah.
They're actually building paths for them to traffic.
Bro, it was fucking crazy, dude. The people on the beach are so fucking insane because you're on vacation, so your brain turns off. You're half naked. You're in the sun. You're probably, if you're not a kid, you're an adult. You're like been drinking it at night.
Probably.
And you're just everything goes away. So like, bro, there was this, the ice cream men come around, right?
On the beach?
So what they'll do is on every block you can get up on the beach. On Long Beach Island. It's just like one long avenue.
Oh, okay, so it's the end of the street.
At the end of the street, and then you can walk up the dunes onto the beach. So the ice cream men would, they would have their certain streets they'd go down. They'd come up, and they always ring a bell.
On the beach, on the dune.
On the top of the dune. They wouldn't go like down.
Interesting, okay.
So they know that they're there.
This.
Yeah, because if they play music, they can't hear it. You know, there's a huge dune, so they can't hear, right? So they just walk up to the dune and they ring a bell, and then usually like a handful of kids will go running up with money to go get ice cream. One time, this fucking ice cream man comes, rings the bell. All of a sudden, this fucking woman is like screaming bloody murder. Oh my God! Oh my God! Running to the water's edge. Billy, get out of the water! Get out of the water! And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I jump off the stand. I go over to her. I'm like, what's happening? She goes, they're ringing the shark bell. How do you not hear it? I'm like, that's the fucking ice cream man, lady. It's not a shark bell.
Is there a shark bell?
He's got Snoopy. He's got Snoopy's up there.
Is it crazy that I think of Snoopy?
Well, it's like classic.
Yeah, that's the classic. Yeah,
he's got Creamsicle Spider-Man up there. There's a wrestling bar. There's no shark.
Is there a shark bell?
No.
Who is this woman that's implying that bells are for attacks?
I don't know. So I don't know. I have no fucking clue. It was insane. And then after that, and she didn't believe me, and then I had to like calm her down. And then she realized, I was like, look, why would kids be running towards him with money? You know what I mean? Like, he's an ice cream man.
He's not a shark. He's a predator.
Yeah. He's a pedophile.
Well, you're not understanding about this.
Not a shark.
Yeah. He's less dangerous.
Bro. So then, but then of course, then I got people coming up to me being like, what's going on? Is there a shark? Did someone say shark? And then it's just like, no, everything's fine. And then someone else is like, but there are sharks out there, are there not? You know, and then you got to be like, I mean, yeah, dude.
Statistically, yes, there are sharks in the ocean. But there's more sharks in the ocean than the forest, yes.
Right.
That is correct. In terms of right now, no.
Bro.
Was there shark attacks?
No, not
shark
that.
presence? Was there a presence of
sharks?
sharks?
I caught a 300-pound brown shark in the bay one time. We couldn't even pull it up onto the dock. We pulled it up. We caught it in the bay off of a dock.
300 pounds.
Bro, easily. We had 2 loop gaffs on it, and we couldn't even pull it up onto the dock. Because we would shark fish at night in the bay, but we would usually just get like smaller sharks. But they're bottom feeders, but bro, this thing is fucking, it's like the size of your fucking couch.
Did you have a Speedo on?
No.
Okay.
No.
Were there any like shark presence? Were you on the stand and saw a shark and had to call people in? Is that even how it works?
Yeah, you do that. You usually just say, like, I personally can't say that I've ever seen like a shark like dun 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 like swimming through the water. I've had like what I maybe thought might have been a shark, and then like told people to like come in.
Okay.
But you pull people in if there's like bluefish coming through. Did you ever see bluefish?
Big, right? Because they'll knock you
they're
over.
Big, and they got sharp razor teeth, and then you could see them coming from a mile away because it's just this big circle of churning, bubbling water, and you'll see like little fish kind of jumping out, and they'll just sort of Ouija board their way. Like if they start getting towards like the swimming area, you just pull everybody in.
Oh, I didn't know bluefish were that dangerous.
They're not like, I don't think anyone's died from a pot of bluefish, but you'll get like cut up, and it's probably not. Like, do you ever like hold a bluefish? Even their fins are sharp.
I've never held a bluefish.
Yeah.
I've seen them on a wall. People will stuff a bluefish.
Right.
I've had a sandwich where there was bluefish, and that's about my...
It's fine.
It's
fine at best.
So yeah, that kid, he couldn't come on the pod.
Yeah, how did we even get... Oh, because we were talking about the service industry, and Yeah, now I'm thinking of all these fucking weird lifeguard things that like happened. Yeah, that was fucking... Yeah.
So, I don't know. I want to find out, like... Because I order sushi, right? How are they fucking me over? I know it's not real, some of the fish, but like, how else? These are questions I have.
What do you mean?
I order sushi, right?
What do you mean they're fucking you over?
Because there's no way, like, 3 rolls of sushi, real sushi, should cost $18 plus tip.
Did you ever watch Jiro Dreams of Sushi?
I know of it.
Great movie. You should watch it.
It's animated. Is
No.
it not? Oh,
No.
it's not.
It's real life. It's about well, he's dead now, but it's about the Yiro, who is like the greatest sushi chef in Japan.
Okay.
And his son is like his apprentice, and it's this whole fucking thing. But it's like beautifully shot. But if you watch that and saw like the prep that goes in to doing it,
it's insane.
it's like it's insane. But it's insane.
It's an art.
It's an art, but it's insane in a weird way because you're not. And I'm not saying that all these sushi places do it like, you know, I mean, the guy like devoted his fucking life to it. I'm sure some of these other places are just like getting stuff shipped to them,
right,
or whatever. But it's like different, right? Because normally we think of cooking, and you're like, okay, fire up the stove. I'm gonna chop this. I'm gonna but. That with the sushi, it's a lot of like selecting the fish, and then it's a lot of like massaging the fish and prepping it and like knowing timing of it and like precision on the cuts of it. It's like all that type of shit. Cause like I've had like pieces of like toro, like fatty tuna that I love. I've had it and it's like, yeah, I love toro, but I've had it and it's like, who the fuck cut this? It's like all stringy. There's like tendon in the fucking fish and shit. But then I've had toro that's like butter. That's like perfect like pink cube but like fatty, and it's like just like melts in your mouth when you eat it. Like you're right. If it's like dog shit sushi, that's like, yeah, it's like you're fucking ripping me off. But like I don't mind paying like for like good sushi. Like I'm like, fuck it, I'm into it.
When you first have good sushi, it blows your mind. And it makes you never want to order like delivery sushi ever again.
Yeah, it sort of it raises the bar on what you're willing to accept.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Sugarfish?
No.
There's two of them. There's one in Soho. There's one in like Union Square area, like Chelsea, Union Square, that area. I went once, and we sat on the bar, and you look in. And the girl I was with was like a real liberal girl. She was like, I don't want to say anything. But everyone preparing the sushi is Puerto Rican. And I was like, yes, but I think you also have to realize that there is a Japanese person watching it. I think that's allowed.
Listen, there's got to be one Japanese guy back there.
If
It's the overseer and they're learning the craft from him and he's got to give it the okay, I'm fine with that.
It's like kosher meat. You know, it's going through the plant, but there's a rabbi on the floor.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I need.
And I don't know if that's how it works with the sushi world, but it does for me.
For me, as long as there's a Japanese person in the area, it's okay.
I've been to 2 sushi places. I don't even remember the name of them. I don't even think they were in New York, but I distinctly remember 2 times seeing just only white guys behind the sushi bar.
What?
No Japanese rabbi. No
Japanese
sushi rabbi overseeing the ongoings, and
I don't like that.
And I just did not. It was very off-putting, very off. And the sushi, I don't know if the sushi actually didn't taste good, or if I just was like, I just immediately assumed it tastes bad because of who was dicing it up.
No, listen. There are most times in society, racism should not be allowed.
This is one of those.
This is one of the times where you need.
I don't even know if it's racism. Is that racism?
It might not be racism. It's honestly
prejudice.
It's preference.
It's preference.
It's what preference. It is. I need the ethnicity to make the food that belongs to them,
bro.
They're the expert.
Yeah. And also white dudes who are really into Asian culture are always creepy.
And there's always, in every high school, there's the clique of like just Asian people that just hang out with Asians. There's always one white guy.
Yeah.
I want to know how he got adopted in. I want to know what the process is. How'd you apply? How'd you get into the circle?
What did you do to earn their trust?
Right. What skill do you bring that they do not have?
They're probably just using him just to like have one white delegate.
Do you think that's how it's the inverse of how a white group of friends will have a black guy Asians will have a white
Yeah,
person.
we'll have one white guy with us.
It's never a girl, mind you. It's never a white girl.
You know what? I met one white girl. She's, I guess maybe you could call her a comic. I'm not going to name names. I don't even remember her name. But
That's fine.
very into the Asian culture.
Huh.
Like, as creepily as, like, the stereotype white guy who's, like, over into the Asian culture.
Into the Asian culture or into anime?
Or, well, and also Asian women.
Well,
as a guy.
I think for the guy, that's usually what causes the interest.
There was this funny. So years ago, when I first got into doing comedy, like before I was even doing stand up, I used to try to do like these video things, and we did this like weird talking heads thing. Like it was kind of like you know, when like on like VH1 where it was like they would have like different comics just like comment on stuff.
Yes.
We would just choose these random topics, and our friend Miles, he was a stand-up. We would just like write these like stupid like bunch of one-liners about some topic, and his name was Miles, and we called the show Advice Files with Miles, and we spelled it all with Y's.
Oh,
right?
that's fun.
Right. And then we put it on YouTube. We did like a handful of them, and then we put them on YouTube with the hashtag acronym AFWM, Advice Files with Miles.
Okay.
Right? One day the dude, my buddy, who I actually do dunce caps with, he edits, and he hits me up and he's like, dude, Google or go on YouTube and type in AFWM.
I'm very... okay.
It's this whole group. I don't even know if it still exists. It's Asian female, white male, and it was all these videos of that style of couple being like, you know, we're like really proud of being a couple, and then like being like, it's not a fetish, like talking about, and it's like, no, it is. It is.
First off, it is. Okay,
It is.
And it's
It's a
fine.
thing, and that's fine.
And it's fine.
Listen,
There's people out there doing blood play. This is fine.
Yes, it's fine. It's
Figging.
okay.
We remember figging.
Yeah.
This is substantially more normal than figging.
Easily.
But yeah, I don't know.
But but it's like it's strange. You know, it is weird though. I have thought about this. Like, is it racist if like, okay, like, you know, like Madonna, right? She's got like 30 kids that she's adopted from like all over the world, right? Like, do you like on some level, right? On some level, if you're adopting a kid and you're like, okay, I want to adopt a kid from like a country, like a not America, right? You got to be like, do I want a black kid? Do I want a Spanish kid? Do I want an Asian kid? Like, on some level, you got to like pick up a preference, right? And then like even if you just go down to like, you know, the kennel or whatever they call it, the fucking kid kennel.
The kid kennel.
You know, the orphanage.
Yeah, but I mean, a kid kennel, that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
You know, you go down there and, you know, again, it's like, you know, you got some black kids, some Spanish kids, you know, you got all different things to choose. And then, you know, you walk up, you're like, oh, I'm going to pick this kid up. Does this kid feel right? Can I see myself with this black baby? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to, like, on some level, if you'd be lying if you told me that didn't, like, someone who adopts a kid that's not your race, that didn't, like, there wasn't some kind of, like, thought involved in that.
Or you could look at the kid kennel as like a diner where they have infinity options. And it's really, what are you in the mood for today?
Yeah, but the problem with that is when you go to the diner, you don't bring the whole meal home and raise it.
What's I mean?
It's not like I could like take one kid and like fuck with them for a day and then be like, all right, I'll come back next week and I'll try the Reuben next. You know what I mean? Like, you got to bring the pancakes home with you and then keep them alive.
Yeah, then you got to start
keep them in the freezer.
Yeah, you got to start a college fund for the eggs Benedict.
Yeah. You work your way through the whole menu, and then you get into the weird parts of the diner menu where it's like the surf and turf.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, you're at the orphanage, you're like, who gets lobster?
Yeah.
Oh, we found the clip.
Bro.
What is it? 34. Okay.
Yeah.
3447.
Kennel.
That's good. The Kid Kennel.
Oh,
God,
man.
that's the name of the app.
Dude, it's fun. It's just crazy to me. Like, and even like I've even thought about it too, where you're like, okay, you're like, I know I want an ethnic kid, right? Because like this is gonna sound so bad, but it is a real analogy. If you are going to pick out a dog, right? Maybe you're like, I want a dog, but I don't know what kind of dog I want.
It's fair.
I'm just gonna go down and just figure it out.
Right.
But then there's some people who are like, I want a French bulldog.
You're right.
And that person is only going to exclusively look at Asian kids.
Or whatever. French Bulldogs? Wait,
Well, whatever.
But
But you know what I mean, though, right?
Yeah.
Where you're just like, but even if you do the thing where you're like, I'm not really even sure, and then you're like, oh, this is like a Spanish baby, and you're like, oh, well, I would want the child to be like, if you're progressive, you're like, I want the child to be raised to speak Spanish in the home,
Right.
But I don't speak Spanish, so that's not gonna work. You know, you gotta like go. You know, like you're getting a human. Like you have to. Those things must run through your fucking head if you're going to like adopt a kid.
It's gotta. And also, no one adopts Spanish. You could adopt black, Asian, white. No one ever adopts Spanish. Have you noticed that?
No.
Name a celebrity that adopted a Spanish kid, and not Filipino.
I don't keep up on.
I'm talking your Central
Puerto Ricans
Americans,
of
your
Asia?
South Americans.
Right.
Who?
I honestly don't know.
Who have you met out that they're like, oh,
I don't
and
even
also
know
I'm
that
adopted?
many people that I know. I don't even know that many people who are adopted. I have like one of my close friends. I know he was adopted, but like that's
Loser.
That's it. Yeah. What up, Chris?
Well, what is he? What was the situation?
Like,
how was he adopted? Is he
well, what's funny about
a
it?
white to a white?
No, black on black.
Oh, that's
Black
nice.
on black adoption.
Black on black.
Yeah, and it's funny, and he and I joke about it all the time. He but it's gonna sound racist as what I say.
I mean,
but they
whatever.
literally, they don't. You wouldn't even know that they adopted him.
Yeah. I mean, that had to go through their minds, the parents, not the kid.
Maybe
That had to,
probably. I mean, yeah, probably.
just make life a little bit easier for this kid.
I think they have one birth kid and 2 adopted.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
One birth kid oldest, adopted youngest.
I think so. Sister, 2 brothers. Brothers adopted sister. Yeah.
That's odd.
I've actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, there was a family I knew growing up. Also, same thing. One birth, 2 adopted.
And the oldest birth.
Youngest birth.
I can understand that. If you don't think you could get pregnant,
Because you're like, I'm not feeling the love for these first 2. I should do a birth one.
I meant more from a medical standpoint, but maybe that's it, I don't know. Who am I to judge? Maybe you made the wrong choice on the first 2, and you're like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, they don't come with a return, like a receipt.
Yeah, they don't come with a receipt,
They don't come with a receipt. No. That's why I want to adopt, like, I'm probably not. I don't think I'm going to get married. I'm at least, and I don't really plan on having kids. But maybe if I'm older, like I'll probably just like only adopt like 16 and 17-year-olds. So then I only got to deal with them for 2 years, and
just
then
someone to like chill with.
Yeah,
just like
I
a
won't even be
podcast
hard
partner.
on them. I don't even be hard on them. You know what I mean? And I'll only pick. Maybe I'll only go for ones that I think are going to be like athletic. like a
Culpepper.
blind side
Yeah,
sort of
blindside Michael Orr.
situation. And then I'll get hooked up. I'll be like, you don't even have to call me dad. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, call me coach.
Here's keys to the house. I got a van that leaves every morning from here to the public school.
You convert your garage to a gym.
Breakfast. I just give them a schedule and then I let them do whatever they want.
Yeah, it's more of a
outside
prep
it.
school than a home,
Yeah,
really. Yeah,
it's
you're
just
just
like
getting them
a-
ready for the league.
Yeah. I'm just keeping a what do they call it? I can't like a feeder program, like just
Yeah,
to,
you
like,
have a minor league system coming in
yeah,
and
but
out.
they're playing different sports. Like I got a hockey kid up in the left back room. I got a fucking baseball kid up there. Yeah,
It's a boarding school. You
Yeah.
essentially just have a boarding
they're
school
smoking
without
cigarettes.
the
I
school.
don't give a shit.
No,
Just
great.
be at practice.
Oh, so you're adopting Russian kids, huh?
Bro, I don't give a fuck. I don't.
Okay.
I'll take. Give me the troubled ones.
It's just a bunch of fucking 7-year-old Bosnians.
17-year-olds. 1 year I got to deal with.
17 for gymnastics. That's too late.
Yeah.
That's why you got to get a Bosnian 7-year-old or a Chinese 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Give them
Start
some
going
cigarettes
international with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get into the gymnastics, figure skating. Come on, things
Right.
like this.
Right. Yeah, that would be sick, dude.
Yeah, get to go
It'd be
to a
such
few Olympics.
So I wouldn't even live in the house. Wait, what's that? Get a few to the Olympics?
Yeah, get a few. You get to travel that way.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, dude.
These-
Bro, I have so many athletic kids. These are all my sons and daughters, but I've only parented them for 1 to 2 years.
Yeah, there should be some sort of athletic orphanage free agency.
Right. And I could be that.
You could be that.
Yeah, dude.
At least be the middleman for the trading. You know, be the transfer portal of this type of orphanage.
Right. Right. I can interfere when the scouts are like, you know, when they're like 16 and 17, like the parent has to be involved.
Yeah, you're essentially just becoming an orphanage free agent at this point.
I'm this kid's manager.
Yeah. I like it. No one's doing it.
Right. I don't think anybody
Probably
is.
for legal reasons, but
Well, they also don't want to deal with the hassle. Because, like, how many... Here's the thing. If you live in an orphanage, are they taking a bus to the high school? Does, like, an orphan go to, like, public school?
yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
So, like, you could just be, like, an orphan kid, and then, like, a bus comes, and you go to, like, the local public high school, and you could just be, like, on the football team, crushing it.
I think
and then you
so.
get picked up, and you go back to the orphanage.
I don't know, because we had an orphanage in our town, which actually Dr. J, Julius Irving, was from.
Okay.
And they had, in our CYO league, they had their own team.
An orphan team.
Dude, we were like 5th grade. They were like dunking. I was like, fuck. Who gave the orphanage a team? This isn't fair. Spread them out.
Yeah, let's make this an even league.
I would love, I can't even shoot the ball. These kids are dunking. Unfair.
Was it mixed race or just
No.
no? Okay.
I forgot what the Mercy. Mercy was the name of the orphanage.
Okay.
Yeah, and they had, but yeah, now that, because that's a question I probably should have asked when I was younger. Like, where do these kids go to school? I would imagine probably on the campus.
Right, because I would imagine. I mean, like I didn't go to public high school, but like I would imagine like everyone would know if like a kid in your class is like the orphan kid. You're like, oh yeah, Max, yeah, he's an orphan. Because like at some point, someone's gonna be like, hey, you want to come to this party? And they're gonna be like, oh, I can, or they're
You
gonna
think
be,
that's when it comes out?
Or like, well, what's he gonna be? I don't know. I've never like been. I don't know how. Like, I'm sure different orphanages work differently, but like, I can't imagine like, or some kids like, oh, what are you doing tonight? Or can I come over? Let's like hang out. And you're like, no, I live in an orphanage. Like everyone would know, right?
These are fantastic questions. I don't know.
It must not happen a lot.
Because next to the orphanage was a private all-girls school.
Hot.
Right? But I don't know if like the orphan girls got to go to that school. I believe there is a relationship between the orphanage and that school, but I don't know where the guys went then. Maybe on it was a big campus. Big.
Well, that's what I thought orphanages were like, an all-encompassing like the orphanage.
This was a nice orphanage. If this is an orphanage,
You're gonna send your kids to this orphanage. This was a great orphanage. I want my kids to get a good education, and I'm sending them to that CYO basketball team or Mercer.
I'll tell you what, I can't shoot a jump shot. That's all I'm saying.
Bro, you have kids one day, and you just take your kids and you drop them off there, and you're like, I'll see you at 3. Like you work out a deal where like that's where they have to go to school at the orphanage.
Yeah,
that's where they have to spend their day.
I gotta go to the orphanage and be like, I've noticed that you don't have any day camps. What's the situation?
I really want my son to be an NBA player.
Right. And I'll tell you what, I heard Dr. J came from here, so what? I assume the nuns aren't teaching them how to dunk. So how? Also, like the only place that there were like still nuns. But I guess you would know.
No, there's nuns around. I mean, there's less and less.
But I mean, you went to Catholic school, so for
Right.
you, a nun is probably
There was a lot
like,
of brothers at our school, which are like kind of like guy nuns.
I'm aware of
Oh, okay.
what that is.
Right.
They have the brown robes and the rope around
when
their
they're
waist.
in their garb, but when they're like teaching class and shit, they're just like wearing like some of them would just wear like normal clothes.
Friars.
Friars?
Isn't that what they're called?
I thought friars were like guys that were like met and wore like moose hats.
Oh.
Like a friars club?
I mean, there are friars clubs. Yeah, but I thought a friar was like a man.
Oh, like a monk.
Yeah, like a monk.
Like a guy who makes like Trappist beer.
I would consider that, like a friar.
Right.
Maybe I don't know. The Providence College, their logo is the Friars. The Catholic school by us, St. Anthony's, they were the Friars. So I always assumed those were friars.
Right, Providence, right. Yeah, I think those are like monks.
Yeah, they're probably synonymous terms.
Yeah. But what the fuck was I going to say? Oh, yeah, dude, have you ever been to the Vatican?
Never been to the Vatican. I've gone to Lake George and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Anywhere outside of that, don't ask me if I've been there.
That's the most congregation. That's the most nuns I've ever seen in Irish. Like, you just, everywhere you look, there's like nuns walking around.
Dude, Lancaster. Dude, I would go to Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I remember the last time we went, we did an Amish tour. And I was on a bus, and they just drove you through like the Amish like communities, and there were just kids that would just like look at you in the bus,
and you're looking back at them.
I'd be like, "Is this legal? I feel like we're exploiting. This is a human zoo."
They're getting paid.
Do you think they're getting paid?
100%.
They got candy. The bus would stop, and all the kids would run up, and he'd throw them candy. And I was like, "This is very much like the seals at the zoo," and I'm very uncomfortable with this.
Well, dude, when I lifeguarded, sometimes you'd see like a group of Amish people come up to the beach, and because it's not too far from Pennsylvania,
right,
to get over there, and I found out that they like do this thing where they like when they become like before they become like an adult, whatever.
Rumspringa.
What's that?
Rumspringa.
What's that?
That's that year
where they let them. They're like, oh, you can go out.
Yep.
And then you decide.
And I think that's like a misconception. It's like there's more freedom for that year, but it's not like
I was under the understanding that it was like you can go and do some like break some rules,
right?
And
you have a little more
experience the world to decide if this is the life that you want to continue living. Like
I've done a little research into it.
Oh, okay. So that's not how that works.
So it's not to like for you to see if this is right for you. Is to be like, so you get it out of your system because then you come back and this is your life forever.
Well, that's even sadder.
Oh, it's
that's even sadder.
I would go. You'd
see them at the beach and they'd be wearing like their dresses and shit. This is like going in the water.
Aren't you sweating profusely under that?
They looked so hot.
So it's because they were
right.
Whenever I go on the Amtrak to Syracuse, there's Amish people on the Amtrak, and I'm like, is this allowed?
They must be in their year. The year.
No, it's like it would be parents and their kids. And by the way, the parents are like 19 years old.
Maybe there's like there's like there's like Hasidic Jews, but then there's like
there are
devout. So like maybe you could be like I'm what are Amish? Jesuit? No,
it's their own. So you have different levels of Amish, but then Amish that if they look Amish but they use electricity, they're called Mennonites.
Okay, yeah. So maybe they're like So the Mennonites, they're like kind of like the Jews you see in like Crown Heights, where they wear normal clothes, but they got the strings and the cool hat.
That would be that's your.
They look like Kun Lao from Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
They got the Kun Lao look.
Yep.
Like those are. I feel like those are probably like the Mennonites. So maybe that's what you're seeing on the train.
Maybe that's what I'm saying. But they're like the babies are like in Amish costumes.
Costumes.
I don't think they're costumes because they wear them every day.
Yeah. But
garb.
To us, it's garb.
I guess.
Outfit choice.
Like you would go to Hershey Park. And there'd be Amish people in Hershey Park. Right. Like, how did this work
again,
out?
maybe they're Mennonites.
They must have been Mennonites.
Yeah.
But yeah, really. So yeah, that kid's not coming over to do the podcast this week.
The chef.
The chef, yeah.
Yo, he should go stop in at like some Amish place and yuck it up with some of the pretzel makers and some of the candy people. Maybe he wants to make you want to make a name for yourself, bro? Go out to fucking Amish country.
Yeah, go to fucking Lancaster. Dude, you think if that kid walked in, not only have they never seen sushi before, they've never seen a Jew. There'd be so many things that threw them off when he walked through the door. I don't even know how they'd handle it. They never even seen Japanese people before.
Who, Mennonites?
Or Amish. Unless like a Japanese person stopped through Lancaster.
I bet you they've seen, the elusive Asian before.
I'm
There's
sure
gotta
they've
be
seen
some
that.
Asians that wanted to explore the Amish.
But they never seen. You think they've seen sushi?
An Amish person?
An Amish person.
I've heard of such things.
It's not a bad.
I've
not a
heard
bad
of
Amish.
these sushi. I doubt. Maybe he saw it like on his when he was able to like go out for the year.
Oh, good point.
Maybe.
Good point. I didn't think about that. It's like George Washington died without knowing dinosaurs were real.
Right.
I assume most Amish people die without knowing sushi exists.
Bro, like when people come to New York as like a visitor and you don't, they always just go to like Times Square,
Yes.
And they don't really know like that when you live here, there's like actually like cooler, more fun stuff to do that lives everywhere else outside of Times Square.
Yes.
Right. Now imagine that for the world. You're an Amish person and they're like, okay, do whatever you want for a year. And you're just like,
Where do I start?
where do I? I guess we'll start with the beach and then I'll try getting in a car. Like
Just getting into the car.
yeah, I'm gonna get in a car and I don't know, interact with people that are dressed pretty much. I mean, they can't even say that we're not dressed normal because the rest of the world is not dressed like them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ooh.
Like they have to know that like they're not normal.
But if you if you grew up Amish, like my last episode with the French director, he's like, if you grow up in Montreal, you can never meet an English speaking person your whole life. Like that's very common.
Right.
An Amish person might not know like what sneakers are.
See, I think they do because like if you have like buses of people coming through or people getting off the bus to like buy your candy or like whatever, you must like see them. Now, do you know like what the newest pair of like fucking Jordans or whatever that's coming out? No. But they must know like what sneakers are or something like that.
Or unless like you said, they're paying off these Amish people. Maybe that's a certain level of Amish that have allowed to be infiltrated.
Well, come on.
To that
we
extent.
got to know that there's like higher level Amish, like whatever guys that like work something out with the state or whatever. I'm sure they're getting,
But then there's
tax
like
write-offs.
elite Amish, I'm saying.
Of course, there's got to be.
But yeah, we never even touch them. They're like
No,
lost
they're-
tribes in the Amazon.
But we can see what barn they're in.
We can see what barn they're in.
Yeah, like there is like intergoings on that like we don't know about and like weird shit and like probably weird deals with the state. I'm sure they get tax write-offs. They live on all this land. How the fuck are they paying for it, right? And if they're not paying for it, what deal was worked out? If you're going to start letting buses of non-Amish people drive through your fucking neighborhood to go on like a tour or whatever, what are you just doing that for free? Like I think there's incentives and like things like that get worked out, and whoever's doing it, yeah, there's got to be some like leader or some guy who's like in charge of it. It's like any religious institution, I feel like, because they're not Native Americans. It's got to be all it's all religious based, right?
It's religious based, but it's also culture based. It's both, because they don't speak English; they speak Pennsylvania Dutch. So like, but like some do speak English also.
Like the ones that go into town to sell pretzels.
Right?
Don't they make pretzels? I thought they made pretzels.
I didn't know they made pretzels. They make barns and fireplaces,
Right.
and
they
pies.
Can't use zippers. You
Wait,
know that?
really?
No, they can only use buttons.
Is that a religious thing?
I think it's probably some weird old reasoning for it. It's probably
They can't use zippers?
It's probably like mechanical. I mean, it's the same reason they don't use like electric.
Fuck.
You know what I mean? It's like the same thing with like Jews can't like flip a light switch. It's like
It's technically fire.
It seems arbitrary,
Right.
but you're like, I guess that's just the rule. Yeah. So they don't use. I mean, maybe a Mennonite does because he's more chill.
Yeah,
He's like the Kun Lao Amish. But,
right.
you know, like I don't think like the hardcore ones. It's all buttons. That's why they still use like old tools and shit.
I'm aware of why they still use. This is what I always thought was weird about the Amish. What year did they say, all right, everyone, hey, this is it. We're not progressing. This is it.
Yeah, when was the cutoff?
Whenever you
of technology.
Right. From this point on, we can't use anything new. So invent your shit by 7 p.m. tonight.
Because that's it.
Because that's the end.
Some guy's like running, he's got like a light bulb in a potato. He's like, wait, brothers, wait, and then like the sundial hits and fucking he's out.
Yeah, he's like looking at the sun.
No, he didn't get it in.
Trying to jump and he had an iPhone.
Yeah, he had a fucking.
It was Steve Jobs actually.
He had an electrical grid.
It was a Tesla. He tried to drive in a Tesla. And they're like, no, I told you 7 p.m. was the cutoff. He's like,
no, Zachariah, it is too late. Yeah. Bro, that's so fucking funny. Yeah, that's such a great question. You know what else is great about the Amish? We can rip on them all we want and there'll be no online backlash.
Yeah,
because
never
they
know.
can't use the internet.
No.
It's the perfect target.
When I was in high school, my big joke, I found this picture online and it said Amish Airlines. And then there was a bunch of Amish people on like a really long horse and buggy and like 20 horses just running off a cliff. And dude, there were certain things I did in high school that really popped it off. That was one of them.
That was one of them?
Yeah, people were like, you
Wait,
come up
you
with
made
this?
that?
No, I just found it.
But you told people you made it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, people
I've
were
done
like,
shit
this
like
is
that.
fucking genius.
I've done shit like that. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I don't want to brag.
Amish
But
Airlines.
it was that, and I wore a shirt that said, I beat anorexia when I weighed 300 pounds. I wore that shirt. Dude, I had teachers... they come into my class and be like, where's Happel? All right, yeah, hey, I'm going to pull Happel out for a minute. And they bring me to another teacher's room and be like, you see this fat bitch? See this fat bitch in his shirt that he wore? How fucking funny is this? All right, you fat bastard, get back to fucking Miss Liada's science class. And I was like, yeah, I'm just happy to be on tour.
I'm just the fun fat guy.
Just happy to be on tour. All right, what am I pulling in? What's the door? How much am I pulling from the door here? And they're like, nothing. I was like, all right. It's the first time I got exploited by traveling doing comedy.
Bro, wait, you weighed 300 pounds?
In like high school.
Oh
This was, probably freshman year.
You played hockey?
Yeah, they call me the Bumblebee.
You said that in such a mixed. You were like half proud and half like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
They called me the Bumblebee.
Because I was so fat, but I also had the stripes on the socks.
Right.
So it just looks like I was fast but fat, so they call me the Bumblebee because I was just buzzing around the ice. It was good because I would just park in front of the net and screen the goalie. And, dude, they legit would take like 3 or 4 people to push me off of the net. And
you were defense? You were on defense?
My whole life I was defense until high school. Until my coach was like, no one can move this fat bastard. So they're like, all right, you're going to play wing now and just sit in front of the net. And we're just going to take slap shots from the point. And they can't move you. And it worked out.
We won the champions.
We did. My sophomore year, we won the Town of Oyster Bay Championship. We weren't supposed to win any games.
How many pucks did you take?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. But there was like 3 or 4 guys would try to push me out, so it would hit them, and then I would like backhand it in.
Yeah, just like slap it, sloppy, slap it.
Yeah, it worked really well. It was a really good strategy.
Yeah, that is fucking great, dude.
Yeah,
That is
so,
so fun.
not to brag.
They call me the Bumblebee.
Bumblebee. Shout out Michael Goldstein for having that one stick.
Bro, the fucking nicknames in high school are just were superb, bro.
'Cause here's the thing, I think. everyone can think of a nickname for someone pretty quick. It could be a pretty funny nickname. But in high school, you face no repercussions for actually saying that name.
No.
I can't work with a fast guy and be like, yo, Bumblebee.
Right.
Going on, Bumble.
And then he asks, why do you call me that? And you go, because you buzz around the office real quick and you got striped socks on, you fruitcake. Yeah.
Yeah. In high school, though.
Oh, it's completely acceptable.
Right.
There was this kid, oh my God, Rob something, I forget his last name. But anyway, he fucking freshman year in the locker room had just a random boner that he couldn't control.
It happens.
It happens. His nickname for the next 4 years was Boner. Simple. Bro, till senior fucking year. I even remember when they pulled him up and like a bunch of kids were like, Boner. Dude, lived with him for 4 fucking years. And then if he ever...
of college, you mean?
No. Of high school.
Oh, you lived with him?
No, it lived with him.
Oh, it lived with him.
It lived with him for
I got
4
you, I
fucking
got you, I
years.
got you.
And then like even like if he got in like a little tiff or a confrontation with someone, they'd be like, "Yeah, bro, why don't you get a fucking boner about it?" Like,
fuck.
It was just like fuck. And then he'd be like, "It happened like it was like 2 years ago, and I didn't even have a boner," you know. And you're just like, "Bro, you lost. You've already lost."
That's a time where you get the suicide. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe. On his LinkedIn, do you think his name is like Boner Jones? Do you think it's stuck
he's
for
like
that
a really
long?
successful trader, and he's just like, you know, John the Boner stock trading Jones. Yeah.
Like it says here, your name's John. Yeah, but I go by.
Everyone just calls me Boner.
Everyone goes by Boner. So yeah, that's my name.
Bro, my nickname in college was Berg, and I hated it.
Berg?
Berg, and it happened because the 2 little white gangsta kids that lived next door to me freshman year
At Quinnipiac?
they grew up in Hamden, Connecticut, which is right
they're
outside
garbage.
New. Yeah. And they were, you want to talk trash? They were into high school football, like they loved it.
That's trash.
And when they found out that I went to Bergen Catholic and graduated with Brian Cushing, they lost their fucking minds. And they were funny dudes, and I would hang out with them sometimes and shit. And like, if we would go out drinking and stuff, and they would like, if I was being like acting up or being crazy, they'd be like, "Yo, you're being a bad Berg." They would call me Berg, and then they just started calling me Berg. Then it stuck. Then other people started calling me Berg. Bro, it got to a point like everybody called me Berg, and like some people thought it was because they were like, "Why do people call you Berg? Your last name's Metcalfe." Or people thought I was Jewish.
Right.
And I was like, no, it's because I went to Bergen Catholic. And then there was this other kid, Evan Olzarowitz, who is Jewish
That name.
and is like born and raised in Bergen County. I only went to Bergen Catholic and like only lived there for 4 years. He's like so proud to be from that area, and he's like, I should be called fucking Berg. Like he hated it. He was like, I should be fucking Berg.
Label me as the Jew.
Yeah. But then what was really fucked up is like I did like some like wild shit in like college and stuff, like just like weird shit, and like people. There was times where people were like, I would be like with a friend and they'd be like, "Oh, this is my buddy Berg," and the girl would be like, "Oh, you're in my science class. Wait, you're Berg?" And I was like, "Well, my name's Chris." Like, so there was like there was like 2 different people. There was like
so people
Berg,
around campus had heard of Berg,
but they didn't know that it was Chris Metcalfe and that I was Chris Metcalfe. So there was people that heard stories about Berg,
right,
but like knew me because of whatever, we were in a class and I wasn't introduced to them by somebody being like, "This is Berg," and I'm like, you know, and then the name evolved. It was like, hey, burger and fries, Lamborghini, Bergatron, Bergdorf, like everything. My friend Rob would be like, Bergdorf. It was like
Harry Potter.
Right. It was insane.
Huh? You're like the Banksy.
I was the Banksy of Quinnipiac for 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, without any of the money. You lost that amount of money.
And pride.
Yeah, QU.
I listen, girls don't want to hook up with some like
Berg,
wacky, funny party guy named Berg.
But maybe they do.
I mean,
for Chris Metcalfe.
I did exactly. You know what it is? It's like Urkel, and then when he gets in that machine and he comes out as Stefan.
Yep.
Chris Metcalfe is Stefan. Berg is Urkel.
Right. It's just, it's 30 years later and people still see you as Urkel. I guess that's really the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Once Berg, always Berg.
That's it. We did it.
We did it.
Oh, that diner clip's going to be good. Okay. Adios.